Welcome back, Real World Climbers, to yet another video in our Last Hoorah Series. Real World Climbing headquarters is looking pretty sparse these days. I just got the one wall left. We are actually in the process of tearing down all of our walls. That includes myself and my buddy Jack. And we're actually going to be combining forces to build something even bigger and better. So while it is sad that we're tearing down these walls, we have something positive to look forward to. That being said, this series about Last Hoorahs, we're going to have our final session here on this MoonBoard. This is set up as the 2013 setup, so it's kind of old school and not very many people are utilizing it. And it just happens to be the last setup that I have had on the wall before we take it down. So we're going to do one last 2013 session. I'll put links to the other videos in this series down in the description below, so make sure to check them out. Also check out the whole concept of what we're doing to combine forces to build this big wall and to see why we made that decision. I think it'll be pretty interesting to you. One thing I would also like to remind you is that Real World Climbing is more than just YouTube videos. It is actually a business that I've run for a while, and one aspect of that business is the consulting and the designing of home climbing walls. So if you're watching these videos because you want to get ideas on what you can do for your own wall, that's awesome. I'll share tons of tips and tricks on the videos on this channel. But if it is something where you would like to maybe pick my brain on what is possible in your space and how to get the most bang for your buck, all that good stuff, I'd be happy to work with you. So for information on that, just check out my website, realworldclimbing.com. Without further ado, we're gonna strap up some shoes and get on this wall. I will say it is gonna be a little bit interesting doing a warm-up on this wall because this setup is very tough. Not a ton of just even jug haul easy paths to get up this setup. It's at 40 degrees overhanging, and as you can see, I've gotten rid of all the other walls that I would maybe use as warm-ups in the past. That's what it's going to look like. I'm going to try to figure out a way to warm up and not slaughter myself, and then we're going to pick some classic 2013 problems. I also don't know how long this climbing session is going to actually end up being. It is really hot out here in Colorado this time of year. So I waited as long as I could to hopefully have it cool down. I have some fans running, but it's pretty hot. So we'll see how much energy we have in us. Just trying to find a path through kind of jugs, as close to jugs as possible. Which again, on this setup, there's not that many. This is probably considered a jug, but it's pretty fingery. I might have to warm up some other way. There's like no more jugs until you get to the very, very top. Dang, this setup is so hard. Just no good warm-ups. So I guess we're just gonna have to take it easy. All right, so I just think I gotta keep climbing and just take it easy and not do super hard things maybe right away, even though, again, I think everything feels pretty hard at this point. So I'm using this app called Over the Moon. It is a personally created app by a guy I met on Instagram. So it's not like an official MoonBoard app. And therefore, I don't really get to use the LEDs. I think supposedly it is supposed to work with a controller box, but I've not been able to get it to do so. In here, it's got a setup that's very similar to the MoonBoard app itself, but instead it's got all of the old school like PDF versions of the routes from the 2013 setup. I've done a handful of these. I'm just going to kind of pick some of the hopefully easier ones, even though, again, I think a lot of these 6As, like B3s, feel quite hard, but I'll just try to find one that looks reasonable. And actually, this one is already up. The blue tape, this dark blue tape here. These are these little magnetic route tags that I've created. So I must have tried this before when I had some friends over, so we put the tape up. So that helps me least for this first one. Yeah. Definitely doable, but I'm not gonna kind of go at it super dynamic until I'm warmed up. I am kind of also forcing this session a little bit because getting down to crunch time. So got to take this wall down, and then we're doing our move here in the next 4 days. So kind of wait till last minute to take this last wall down. But that means I probably have to like climb quick tonight and then also start pulling it down at the same day in the heat. Whoa. Nice. That felt good. It's definitely not V3. And this move from here to here is big enough. And then piano match over into a pretty small crimp here. I guess I've learned, at least with this setup, to not even like care about what the grades are and just roll with it because they could be all over the place. This one's called Marion. It looks like it uses some of the similar holds. But again, like what else are you going to do to keep something somewhat easy? You have to use certain holds. The bottom part, I was like thinking, yeah, this could actually be legit, like an easier problem. The fact that all the feet are on the left makes that top actually pretty hard. And then this thing is a super sharp in-cut crimp. But I like that one, being forced into that lean, because normally that's not like my comfort zone. Yeah, let's try this one. 5 o'clock shadow. So this one looks like kind of interesting again. Deep cross move, overhead cross move. Then walk the feet over and then go kind of square on, which I also want to work on that and get better at that. So this should be interesting. Okay, that was probably the easiest of the 3 I've done so far. So it's called problem 26. So because of how low this start hold is, like I could see it being a laydown start, but this is kind of a big first move. So I'm thinking it's probably like this underclingy pinch move here. Something like this up to here, and then a match. Maybe like could cross and not have to match. Let's try that. Let's try crossing without matching. That one felt decent. As long as you figure out that beta on the bottom. And it might be reachy for some short climbers, but so maybe some of these are actually V3s, V4s maybe. All right, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for one that looks fun. I'm just going for pure pleasure in my final session on this wall. Here's one that uses yellow holds and pretty crimpy holds. So let's try this one. Love me some yellow holds. Try this, doing this one by memory without the tape. Yeah, these are fun holds. I like these holds. The only one that's like super heinous is this white one here. It's really kind of a sharp one. Yellow, 3 yellows, right? Got yellow, 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 white. It's undercling white, black, black, black. I think I got it. Oh, okay, I like that one. So this one is interesting because like to go upward, you kind of catch it here, and you can switch it to an undercling. Just didn't have that foot the best. I'll give that one another go. There's no staying cool right now either. I'm sweating like a beast. Oh, I lost track of it. Oh man, that's just a mental game there. Felt pretty good. I forgot what the finish hole was. Oh, it was right there. Probably should have had that one. All right, I got it this time. Let's go. Oh yeah. Oh, that was good. That was a really cool finish. I felt like if my foot would have popped off, that I would have fallen off with just the one hand on the finish hold. So it really made me work on like stabbing my toe to keep the tension. All right, so I'll probably have more in me if I was going to really do a more elaborate session, but time is not on our side. So it's getting late enough at night that I don't think my neighbors will want to hear me wrenching and drilling and all that stuff. Just came down to crunch time, but I've really loved this wall, and it's pretty sad to kind of see it go because I've really been intrigued by like the systems board concept since the first MoonBoards came out, and that was like 2010. And then this was like the first main setup that had where most of the T-nuts were filled. This was the first setup that I really wanted to do and really got me intrigued about MoonBoards. And then obviously home wall after home wall after home wall, it didn't come up that I had the space for a MoonBoard until this setup right here. So this is my first personal MoonBoard. And then like we saw before, my buddy Jack had an indoor MoonBoard and an outdoor MoonBoard. So it's just really been cool. And I like the other systems boards as well, but this is pretty special to me. So it's a little bit sad to see it go down, but on the same side, we're actually going to be building something even bigger and better. Not one MoonBoard, not two MoonBoards, but you'll see. It's going to be pretty sweet. Anyways, that's it for the climbing portion of this video. In just a handful of seconds, we'll cut into a time lapse of us taking this wall apart. And as I come across things that I think are like unique solutions that might be helpful for you, I'll make sure to share that with you in this video. All right, so here we go. So just take out every single one of the martini shaped bolts, and I think every single hold is stuck to the wall. Maybe not like stuck, but like the paint, even though this paint is supposed to be furniture grade with hardener, the layer behind it is not. It was latex, so my guess is it's just going to pull paint off every single time I pull something off. Reason number 45, I am an advocate for just plain wood. There's one silver lining to all the holes sticking on the walls is sorting the bolts becomes much, much easier. Now for probably the hardest part is this top section of plywood is going to be the hardest part to try and do by myself, so I might have to recruit some helpers. Oh, and I almost forgot that before I can take the panels down, I have to go behind the wall and pull out all of the LEDs and try to take the LED system out. I want to wreck the LED strands, so it's not much to see back there, so I will spare you that, but just imagine me pulling some strings of LEDs out. So I totally forgot to hit record when my son came out and helped me take that piece off. But now we're working on the second piece.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Careful. Watch your toes now.
Oh, that.
Ready? Together?
I can't really do much, but.
Together? Grab it in, yep. Woohoo!
That's heavy.
Yes, it is. And awkward. Yay! And now we got the third one down. I don't plan on it.
I'm starting to sound like Mom. I almost died.
That's not exactly how it went up. It went up one stud at a time, but it was kind of nice to leave the top plate on and bring the whole thing down. And so the kicker here is just 2x12s that are laid out vertically. I'll show you that, but that's actually a solution I really like for simple kickers. So you just stack them. This is 3 deep, so that way it's deep enough for whatever studs you have. Alright, so all I really have left is this peripheral stuff for like some shelving. So I think we're going to end the video there. Thank you so much for joining me in this series. So if you're liking this type of content where it's all about having real world responsibilities and still wanting to improve in your climbing, that's what this channel is about. Home walls, training at home, training on a busy schedule, things like that. Then make sure you click the chains on that subscribe button. That way I can see you on future videos. Thanks so much.